Are we really thinking that this is acceptable from a United pivot? You can fit 5 Huskies in that gap.
No, it's
This isn't going to be a formation debate. Oh, I like 3 at the back. Oh no, I think we should play 4 at the back. No, it's about much more than that. Since Amorim's arrival, United, especially in the Premier League, have arguably gotten worse. The January window obviously didn't help him an awful lot, but United still now have slipped to 15th.
Thanks for bringing it up.
I've seen some things tactically from Amorim which I really like, but those seem to have come in the Europa League. In the Premier League, we seem to keep trying the same things and it's clearly just not working. So I'm going to get into what I think isn't working so well first of all, but before I do guys, drop a like if you enjoy the video, subscribe if you're new around here, and let's get into it. So in our last game up against Spurs, we go into it having had a week of training. It may have been disastrous on the injury front, but the training time was there, and apparently that's what Amorim needed to get this side playing a little bit better. But we had a week of training time and we saw something like this from the get-go. United having 7 players in their own box, marking 3 Tottenham players. Like, that shouldn't happen. No wonder we can't get a counter-attack going if that's going to be how many players you're going to stack the box with. And then to make it even worse, United don't get the first touch on a cross that comes in. When you outnumber the opposition that much, you should be getting first contact on any cross that comes in. But somehow, United don't. And then the same thing happens for the goal United conceded. United heavily outnumber Tottenham in that box, but somehow Spurs still score. Make it make sense. And then more damning for Amorim, I think, is the role of Bruno Fernandes in this game, because it seemed a crazy one. Part of that midfield pivot, but also asked to fly up the pitch in that press, which all seemed a bit crazy. Neville pointed out on comms, and he was right. The system just seemed a little bit off. And if your midfield pivot looks something like this, with that massive gap in between it, kind of doesn't seem right. A little bit later on again, you can see the same thing. Why is one of your midfield pivot players right up on the right wing trying to press the opposition left back? In what other team does that happen? Like, this isn't about, oh, you're playing 3 at the back, playing 4 at the back. Your midfield pivot should never have that much distance between them. And this isn't the first time we've seen a United player having to cover so much ground in the press from that pivot position. But this is why I have hope now. In the Europa League, I've seen Amorim utilise a few different tactics, like a 4-4-2 press. We haven't really seen it in the Premier League, but we saw it in the Europa League. In the Europa League, up against Rangers, you saw United doing this. You're all in the right centre-back spot in that first half. He's out there in that right-back spot, allowing Ahmad, who was the right wing-back, to push on a little bit in that press. In the second half of that game up against Rangers, exactly the same thing. You got Ahmad pushed right up, marking the opposition left-back in that right wing-back position. Dalot, who moved the right centre-back in the second half against Rangers, is now in more of a right-back spot. This seems a much better way to press the opposition. None of that 5-3-2 nonsense, that hasn't worked in the Prem. A 4-4-2 press like this is much more effective. You see it across the league, and you've seen it United do it in the Europa League, but seemingly in the Prem, for some reason Amorim doesn't trust it. And then in possession, I've seen him try a 3-diamond free shape versus Bucharest, and it did very, very well in that game. But in the Prem, we still, again, revert to a flat back three, and our centre-backs don't step out, we don't press, and our in-possession stuff just feels far more rigid. I get, obviously, in the Europa League, the competition is not going to be as good. But why don't we at least try it in the Prem, though? Because clearly, what Amorim is doing at the minute in the Premier League simply isn't working. We're not getting results. So what do you possibly have to lose?
You want too much.
Like, I can't fully buy into this system like many others just have, because Amorim has to show me something. Yes, we all want that long-term project, but show me why I should buy into it. I said the same to Ten Hag. Show me something to buy into. He never did. Amorim so far, I'm not just going to rely on blind faith that he's going to be the man to turn United's fortunes around. I'm not going to do that. Yes, he talks well in press conferences, but he's got to show more on the pitch now. And annoyingly, as I've said, he's done it in certain games. But why can't we see it all the time? Yes, player quality, obviously at the minute, is low. But tactically, he's become so predictable. Multiple Prem players and managers have stated that fact. You can't be this predictable in the Prem. Obviously, teething issues, Amorim coming in mid-season, I understand. It's all just very frustrating. I'm not going to come on you and say, oh, he needs to be sacked, he needs all of this different stuff. All I'm saying is, I want to see better from him. People just blindly just backing Amorim, saying, oh, what can he possibly do? Well, I think he actually can do a little bit more. It's all just very frustrating, and if results don't start to change soon, if they don't pick up, then we genuinely are in a relegation dogfight. But I want to see Amorim try a little bit different stuff in the Prem. Try and show us a little bit of something. Try and play on the front foot a little bit more. We had a week going into that Spurs game, and then United go to Spurs and just immediately just sit in a low block. As I've said, 7 players in their own box, not even a hint of a counter-attack. Is that how you want United to play? It's not how I want them to play. I don't think it's Amorim's long-term goal. But I just want to see him try and expedite it a little bit more, because at the minute, if we keep losing games, we're in trouble. There we are, guys. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.